Last name ever, first name greatest. Like a sprained ankle, boy, ain't nothing to play with. Shee! Oh my god, bro. Okay. This is literally the same day. I thought I need to record another one, bro, because I'm so far behind on these trades. Okay. Alright. So this was the Thursday of this week. This was the New York PM trade, not the last one. Alright, so New York PM. What's the New York PM trade? Alright, I'm gonna do the setup so you know what it is before we go into it. So H1 swing session, high or low, daily high or low, or previous daily. I should actually add the previous daily, bro. Previous. Oh my god, I'm tweaking. Previous. Oh wait, I need to change my screen. I just realized, so that you can actually see it. Oh, you can. Previous. I spelled previous wrong. Oh my days, bro. Previous daily high or low, or a. It should be previous weekly as well. Whatever. Okay. M1 soup, 15-minute break of structure. Make sure price hasn't rebalanced to the H1 equilibrium yet. And then enter on an inverse fair value gap or break of structure on the M1 or a confirmation on the M15. Target a 1-to-1R. So let's look at this one now. So we've got Asia low. So we've got something to draw to. I didn't add on that one, but I'll add it. I added. So we've got something to draw to, which is the Asia low. And we've got something that's swept. So we have hourly high. That's more than enough for New York PM because price doesn't move that fast. So it doesn't need as much liquidity to reverse. And then this is the H1 equilibrium here. Yes, you can see. Okay, so let's go down to the 1 minute. So 1 minute, obviously we have the SMT of that H1 high, the hourly high. And after sweeping that high, wait, is it just, bro, wait, this soup is kind of funky, no? Or am I tweaking? But bro, I might be tweaking. It was a London high, London high. It wasn't just H1 high, bro. I'm on Mars, bro. This was a London high that we SMT'd. So it was a bit stronger SMT. But bro, I'm looking at the soup. Normally, I like to see this be the soup from this high. So like it would be from here to here. Which it kind of is, bro. I think I just drew it wrong. Yeah, no. And then, yeah, no, I just drew this wrong, bro. I'm on Mars, bro. Like that. Oh, my days, I'm on Mars. Like, bro, lock in. Bro, I can't do 2 videos in 1 day. Deadass, I'm tweaking. Alright. Okay, there we go. Okay. There we go. I've done the soup properly. So this soup went hella down. It didn't rebalance. Came back up, souped, lower than this high, higher than this high. There's the soup. And then this was not the break. What the hell? Tweaking. Yeah, okay. So then the breaker structure. Bro, can we lock in, bruh? Okay. I just want to double check this breaker structure because this candle. Okay. This makes way more sense. Bro, I need to put my mic down, bro. That shit is probably so loud, dude. My bad, G. I'm tweaking. Okay. So breaker structure wasn't an inverse fair value gap that I had there. It was this low that was closed below. Boom, and that's why I entered on ES, because I was thinking, why did I enter on ES instead of NQ? But the reason was this high. So if we entered on NQ, we would have actually lost out on this trade. And the reason we didn't enter on the reason we didn't enter on NQ was because we broke structure 1 candle later. So we broke it on this candle on NQ. But the candle before on ES, we actually broke. So we entered on ES first because it was weaker than NQ. And then, you know, the deal, target 1-to-1, risk to reward. Boom. And then make sure we haven't tapped the H1 equilibrium yet, which we didn't. And boom. That's cash, bro. It's as easy as that. I swear. It's actually the New York PM setup is so easy. It's actually insane. Just make sure you sweep at least an hourly level, form an SMT, then have a 1 minute soup. Make sure you haven't tapped H1 equilibrium yet, so you have something to draw to. And if you have an opposite session that hasn't been tapped yet, then there's even more conviction. So you don't need an opposite session, but if there is one, I'm jotting it down on my TradeZilla. So I have it here in my strategy that it wasn't on both pairs, it was on one pair. Wait, this is the wrong one. Is it the right one? No, wait, 11th. It is. So we had H1 EQ on both pairs, and we had Asia low on one pair because NQ already swept out the Asia low. Asia low would have been. Wait, this is Spain time. Yeah, it would have been back here. Yeah, this was the previous day. Bro, am I? I need to go to the hourly because I'm tweaking again. Wait, they had Asian on both, no? Yeah, wait. Wait, what? I'm on New York time, so Asia low starts from 6. Bro, no, fuck. It's actually confusing me the time zones. When I have a different time zones, if you see the bottom right, it goes from +1 because I have one on Eastern time, European time, and one on Eastern time. So that when the time, because the times change, the clocks change, and then the open changes, and then it makes me tweak out. So I've had both differently, so I know, but that only happens for a month out of the year. So I don't even know. I think I might need to change it back to just European time. But so 7 o'clock, that's obviously London, and then Asia. Yeah, Asia would have been this candle. Asia low, yeah. So Asia low, I think for both of them. Which is pretty good. So that's pretty high conviction because we had Asia low here and we had Asia low here. Because Asia opens at 7 o'clock Eastern time. So we had sessions to draw to. We hadn't tapped H1 equilibrium yet. So this was like a pretty perfect trade. I probably made it a 5-star. So I mean, it doesn't really get better than this. The only thing that would make it better would be if we were to sweep a previous day range or a previous week range. But you don't need that for it. I only made it a 4.5. Why is that? London SMT formed during New York Open, never swept opposing Asia low. Yeah, it came up 3 hours later during New York PM to finally soup. H1 EQ and Asia low resting on south side. NQ stopped. I mean, I think looking back, maybe during the time, I guess it was kind of choppy. But I mean, we had the south side to target, and we hadn't tapped H1, and it was a London. I guess the thing that made it weird was we had SMT'd London high at 10 o'clock Eastern time, and that SMT held all the way until, if I go forward on NQ, the SMT held all the way until 2 o'clock Eastern time. So I guess the reason why I made it a 4.5 is probably due to the fact that like the divergence wasn't really disrespected. Like normally once we get divergence within like an hour, half an hour, we want to see an immediate reaction to the opposing liquidity. But we diverged and we just stayed in divergence. We didn't see immediate drop off. So that's probably why I didn't really like it too much. But I mean, I guess that's a weird one because that very rarely happens. Like either you have an SMT and then the SMT gets invalidated within an hour, going down or up, whichever, or it gets confirmed or gets invalidated like that. Previous day is a little bit different. That can hold longer because it's a stronger drawn liquidity. But I guess that's why. But really, it followed all the rules to a T. Like, that's the only other thing. And yeah, it was weird because ES obviously didn't hit TP. So actually, yeah, no, we would have been stopped out with stops at this high. So this is the weird one where if I would have put stops there, it wouldn't have been a 1-to-1. So that's what I've noticed with this strategy. That is, if you don't put your stop to the nearest high of the soup, you won't get stopped out as much, but you won't get your 1-to-1. Whereas when you put it to this one, you get your 1-to-1 way more because it's obviously a lower stop loss, which means your take profit doesn't have to be as far from your entry. So yeah, and it's proven this week that entering on the weaker pair for shorts and the strongest pair for longs have really helped, because I think it was 2 times that if I would have entered on the weaker pair, I would have gotten rinsed. So that's essentially that for this trade on Thursday the 11th. One small thing though that I do want to start doing, I feel like, I don't know if it's skipping steps, but I want to start entering on a 50 or of a 50% retrace of the break of structure from the soup. So essentially from the soup, from the break of structure low, I've noticed that this week at least we've retraced. So instead of targeting a 1-to-1, we put our entry at the retest of the 50% and we get a 2-to-1, and that would increase our profit factor insanely if we keep the same win rate. Only problem though is with only 2 contracts, I pretty much have to enter on NQ most of the time because I won't be able to get like the as much risk as I want to get out, because especially with like scaling rules and shit. But if you notice here, all the trades this week, I would have, if I could have entered at the 50%, let's just do like that. Like this. If I could have entered at 50% after breaking structure, they all would have hit 2-to-1s. So this one, the trade that I reviewed for you guys the previous day, even though now it's the same day, I'm going to post this the day after the last one. This one as well, so we broke structure, we would have entered here, but the equilibrium up here, enter, we would have had a 2-to-1. I don't know why it says that. Okay, wait, let me lock in. Boom. That's the soup here. Is the soup, and then equilibrium from this low to this high. Wait, that's why, because it's not a 1-to-1 like that. Okay, there, 1-to-1, and then if I do that, 3-to-1. Bro, what's the math on that, by the way? What is the actual math on that? I guess what the math is it went lower. That's probably why. Wait. Ah, like that. It would be like that. That's what the math is. I just realized that I'm actually tweaking. It won't always be a 2-to-1. Actually, now this has just got me thinking now. Should I do... I feel like I should do to the nearest high for this equilibrium. I could either do this 50% to the nearest soup or the furthest soup, like whichever's higher or lower. I'm not sure actually how I want to do it. I might, because I'm testing it out, I might just do it to the nearest one first, so it would increase my risk to reward a bit more, and then I'll see how it goes. But just from looking at price action this week, that setup has looked really clean, and I think for this one it just tapped into it. I'm pretty sure that was the soup like that, and then low, a high to the low because we broke structure on this candle. I'm thinking as I'm making this video here about this strategy. Oh no, it would have been that one. Okay. So for example, this one, we broke structure on this candle. We pushed a little bit lower. That would be the bottom, and then equilibrium. I would set a limit order, which a thing I like about limit orders is also it creates like, because when you enter at market, you don't know what exactly you're gonna like, because look at this massive red candle, bro. Like obviously it's still moving while you're entering, so I don't know exactly what my risk is gonna be. So that's why kind of like sometimes it's more than 500, sometimes it's less than 500. So that's kind of why it makes it tough. But if you enter at a limit, you've got like 30 seconds to get the exact amount of contracts you want on the table, which is quite nice. So I'm probably gonna test that next week. Like it might be stupid because this shit is working as it is right now, but I feel like it would also be dumb to not improve my setup as it goes. Like I'm obviously still learning this shit as it's going, so I might try that next week. So M1 soup, break of structure, and then from the break to the high of the soup, 50% equilibrium, set my limit order, same stop loss, same TP, like 1-to-1 on the breaker structure, but because I moved my entry higher, it now turns into like a 2 to 1 or a 1.7, depending on the how low it went when it broke. Like, trying to explain this shit sounds so confusing, but it won't necessarily be a 2 to 1, because depending on the break from the high to the low, it will be a little bit different. So for this one, it would be for example, okay, no, sorry, let's go. We entered on, yeah, we did enter on, we entered on NQ. So for this one, it happens to be a 2 to 1, because that's where the breaker structure, this is where the breaker structure is. That's a 1 to 1. So the take profit's going to be at the same level, but I will set a limit order at the 50% of this high to this low. That might be confusing as well, but I've seen like a lot of times price hasn't just ripped down or ripped up to my take profit. It's kind of like done a pullback and gone down. And I think it would be like, yes, I'm going to miss out trades that just instantly rip to my take profit. But at the same time, if I'm doubling my reward, then I can lose more, like have less opportunity, because I'm going to make more money in the long term, because by missing those trades and by getting trades that give me higher risk to reward, I will in turn make more money in the future. So I'm gonna test it out and see how it goes. It might be stupid because the shit's working right now, and making this small tweak. I don't know how it could like change. Like really, I should actually go back and like test like all of it. But obviously, with the 1 minute, I can only test like 2 weeks of data on the 1 minute, unless I buy the premium or ultimate plan where I can back test on the 1 minute for way further in time. But yeah, essentially that's currently the update. And then yeah, I'm not making another video after this, bro. 2 videos back to back, dude. I'm actually gassed out, I won't even lie. I've got to do, let's just go to the trade view. So I've done this one now, and then I took one trade on Friday, but I took it on ES and NQ because it was the same. So I took them both just to diversify my risk. So if maybe one hits and one doesn't, then I still get to make some money or break even or whatever the case is. So I'll review that trade tomorrow, and then this will be the next day from the previous day, even though I'm making it on the same day. Boom, you know the deal. Affiliate link, use code comment on funding ticks. These cats are goats. I'll put in the description. Cool. Thanks for watching.